publishing paper is something that you share your work or your ideas with the scientific community across the globe. And many of students or many of us feel some problem in publishing the paper, or like you can see your scrolling to tell you what, but when you go for publishing it's a bit difficult. But as from my experience, when you publish one paper, you know how to get there. And previously our school, especially the student department, uh, have facilitated few lectures or seminars on paper writing. So I think most of you have attended those lectures. So those lectures were mostly about the scientific publication, and right now I have chosen to discuss with you how to write the review paper, because it's kind of a first step. Review paper is something you can do without going through experiment, going through research. It's just and collaboration of various ideas that you have read and put it in a way that is useful for other researchers. Now, the scientific paper is kind of easy to write, in my opinion, because you perform your research and then you follow the same format of abstract, keywords, introduction, methodology, result, discussion, and conclusion, and references. So in research paper, mostly you write what you have done, but in review, it's kind of different. In review paper, we have usually two kind of review. Like one is systematic review and one is bibliographic review. So systematic review is you read many papers, you get some ideas from many papers, you merge those ideas and you come to a fruitful conclusion. And bibliographic review is you go through all the research that have been done on one particular topic, and then you numerically tell that this particular review have been done in this field that is useful for this particular field, and this is the number of research that have been done, this is the number of research that have been done by this particular author or this particular institute or in this particular country. So there are two kind of reviews. Now, why reviews are useful? Reviews are useful because they organize, evaluate, and distill the information. And second point is they are the entry point for students and policymakers. That is, if you are going to do a research, you go through many review papers and you write a review paper. So it is like the basic entry point for your research. And also the policymaker, such as government organization, they usually go for the review papers in order to implement any scientific discovery or any economical discovery or any social discovery. So the policymakers usually go for the review papers. And they provide a bridge between the fields. For example, if you are a meteorology student and you are looking for some particular meteorological event as how it is affecting the any ecological event, any economical event, or any social event. So you connect the meteorology with economics, you connect the meteorology with sustainable development goal, you connect the meteorology with any particular field. So in this case, not meteorology, you can connect any two fields or more than two fields. That's why the reviews are important. And last and very important point about review is they direct and shape the future of research. For example, if you have read any review paper, in the end of conclusion or in end of discussion, you would have seen that they write how this review is going to be helpful for the future researchers or upcoming researchers and policymakers. Now, why to write a review paper? So most of here would write a review paper because you want to learn something about new field, or it is just an addition to your CV to uplift your CV, to make your CV look good. You can write a review paper. So these are not very good reasons, but the practical reasons to writing a review paper are: it is an opportunity to demonstrate your expertise in any subfield. So when you write a review paper, when you to write a review paper, you go through many scientific publications, you go through many experimental publications, you go through many review papers, you read those papers, and then you develop an expertise in that subfield. So when you write a review paper, when someone will see your CV, or when someone will look at your profile, they will know that you are expert in this field because you have gone through extensive reading and writing for that particular field. On an average, the reviews are cited and downloaded more than the primary research articles. So usually the reviews, they are cited more, they are downloaded more, they are read more, because in review paper, it's uh, it's an amalgamation of all the knowledge that you have gained in that particular field, you put in the review paper. That's why people like to read reviews more. And it's an opportunity to think deeply about the state. Like if you write a review paper, it's not only about results, or it's not, you do not just write the result that in this particular review, I read this was the result, in this particular review, this was the result. This is not, this is not you do in writing a review. You come to an idea, you read many ideas, then you think about all those ideas, and then you have your own understanding that from connecting these particular ideas, this new idea can be generated. And in the previous slide, we discussed all the good reasons why to write a review. For example, it's good for policymakers. It's the beginning of your research. It connects bridges between two domains. That's why we need to write a review. And the great reason to write review is the insight that cannot be directly obtained from reading a literature, a scientific paper can be gained from a review. That's why writing review is important. Now, when you write a review, what is the content that you should follow? So, what is the idea of your review? While writing review, you should follow these points. You should address these points, and you should implement these points. When you do that, it will be easy for you to structure the paper and write the paper and publish the paper. So the basic ideas are: why your review matters. You have to write it very clearly. Why does it matter now? Like if you are writing any paper in 2024, why in 2024 this paper matters. What are the future trends that we are going to follow? What are the audience that you are going to uh, show your paper, and why your review is different from other reviews? You should mention these key 6 points in your review. Now, if you go for high quality papers, such as papers with high impact or papers with which are Q1, for example, a Journal of Hydrology or high impact factors such as Trends paper, Nature publications, Cell publications, or Trends publications, then you need to know that you should submit, not submit your review directly. You should submit the proposal first to the editor, right? So in the low impact factor, you can directly submit the paper, but in high impact factor, it's good to submit the proposal before submitting the paper, that the editor will know, or you will get a green signal from editor that yeah, this idea can be published in this particular paper. So to save your time, to save the editor's time, you should submit the paper, the concept of paper, not the paper, the concept of the paper before submitting the paper. And if the editor says, okay, you can submit the paper. This is only applicable for the high impact paper, not for the low impact paper. For low impact paper, you can directly submit your manuscript. Now, when you write the email or when you inquire the pre-submission from editor, what key points should you address? So publishing jargon, that should I bother to submit this uh, proposal or this paper to your journal? You should ask this. And is this research is suitable for your journal? And if the same kind of paper have been published in the journal, you should not submitting that paper in that journal. So as I said before, some journals are okay to submit your manuscript directly, but the strong journals, the good journals, they prefer the proposals first. Now, why you should submit the proposal first? I told you before that you should not be wasting your time and you should not be wasting the editor's time, because if you submit a paper in a high impact journal, they will go through, for example, I have mentioned here, for example, they will go through the 25 pages, and then you will also write 25 pages and you will submit it, and then you will wait for the decision that it's accepted or not. So it's good to just submit the abstract or just submit the idea that this is a paper that is ready with me and can I submit to your journal? So editor will say yes or no. If he says yes, you can just go forward with submitting the paper. That was the whole idea for pre-submission of your manuscript before submitting it. There are some invitations as well. For example, if you want to be sure, uh, not 100% sure, but more than 50% sure that your paper is going to be accepted or your paper is going to be published, you should look for the special issues. So in every journal, they have some special issues from time to time for any particular field. So if you have to submit a manuscript, you should look for the special issues. If you select those special issues, it will be kind of easy for the submitter to be accepted and to be published. So here is an example that I have taken. So if there is a special issue or if there is an invitation for paper, by the way, I have one invitation for paper for meteorology for remote sensing part. So I will share in the group after this lecture ends. So you can look into it. It's a Q1 paper. It's an invitation and you can submit your papers into that. Now, if someone is invited to submit a paper, you submit and the paper goes into review. And then this step is being followed. And usually, if you are planning to publish a paper, I would say if you have to publish a paper, this is July 2024. If you have to publish a paper in July 2025, you should start writing paper today, because from starting to write the paper and to publish the paper, it usually takes around 1 year. So why it takes 1 year? Because to write a paper, you will at least need 2 to 3 months to write the paper. Then for all the processes that it goes under review with editor, then it is sent to the reviewers, and then you get comments from the reviewer. You address those comments and you send it back, and then the paper goes into publication. So it usually takes a minimum of 4 months. So writing a paper is 2 to 3 months, and the process minimum of 4 months. It can go till 6 months or 8 months as well, depending on the quality of paper. But you should follow that 4 months is kind of a minimum to go through all these background processes. So if you have to publish a paper next year, you should start writing now. You should start writing today. Just to remind you guys, if you have any questions or any comments, keep writing in the comment box. After this presentation, we will take all those comments and all those questions related to this topic. Now, if you submit a, if you have, if you need to submit the proposal before submitting the paper, what you should include. So you can read it from here, that the information should be available on the journal website about any special issue or about any invitation to write the paper. If there is not any special issue or any invitation, you can write directly to the editor on the website. On the website, you will find the journal's editors' email IDs. Usually the editors are very busy, so you can go for sub-editors or subject editors of that journal, and you can write the email that I have this particular idea or I have this particular paper and I want to submit in your journal. So if it is okay to submit that paper or not. So if you get yes, you submit it. If you get no, you go for another journal. And also, now, here is an example of a proposal that is being sent. So you should write in, you should usually put a word limit of 100 words, that because if the editor, usually the editors are like very big professors or very highly ranked professors in high ranked universities, and they usually don't have time to see the mails. And if you write a big mail, they are not going to read it. So you should maintain a word limit. The mail should be small. You should usually just write the topic of your paper or your proposal. Now, what should be included in your proposal? Your proposal must have a format. That is, uh, before submitting any paper to any journal, you should read some papers from that journal to get an idea about the format. So, for example, in some journals, the referencing styles are different. In some journals, the numbering styles are different. For example, in some journals, the references can be like in box 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. In some journals, the referencing style can be APA format, that is X et al, Y et al, like this, or it can be like just 1, 2, 3, 4. Even for the headings such as introduction and methodology, there can be formatting. For example, either it can be written only introduction, or it can be written 1.introduction, 2.methodology. So you should be following these details very, very minutely, and they are very important to write your paper and to also write your proposals. The authors must mention their affiliation, that I am working at this particular university or I am affiliated to this particular institution. The abstract or the summary should be highlighted. It should be written why it is interesting topic for this particular time. If there are other reviews on this particular topic or in this particular field, why your review or why your topic is different. This should be clearly mentioned. And if you have any personal experience with that topic, or if that topic is new for everyone, you should write those down. And you have some references. References means if you have some citations, that if you have followed some papers, to write those findings or write those proposal, you should submit some of the references, not all, like some of the references, depending between 5 to 10, you can submit. So these are the particular point that you should be following to write a proposal to an editor. Now, this is not very important, but if you write these, this is a plus point. So even before writing an abstract, if you write a graphical abstract, if you represent your work in a graphical manner that is catchy to eye, like if someone just see a picture and they will get an idea about research, it makes a very, very high chance to get accepted and to get published. You should follow the word count. You should write as small as possible. And if you have your own publication history in that field, you can write it down that I have been co-author in this particular paper, or I have authored these particular papers in that field. This will be plus, but this is not mandatory. The must have points that I have shared, the point number 2, must have, they are very important to write the proposal to submit your research or review paper. This applies to review and research paper as well. Now, if editors say no, it does not mean your paper was bad or your proposal was bad. It can be following reasons. that you have submitted your paper. Your paper was written very good. Your ideas were well put out. Your ideas were noble, but it got rejected because you have chosen the wrong paper, you have chosen the wrong time, or you have not chosen the particular special issue. So you should not be feeling negative if your paper is rejected. You can always look for another paper or another journal and you can submit it again. Usually, what happens uh, in not my experience, but with the people whom I have been working, is that they submit a paper in low impact journal. It's usually get rejected, and then they submit in a better journal, in much higher impact factor journal, and it is accepted. So if the editor says no, if your paper is rejected, it's not a bad thing. So you can submit again to that paper, you can submit to the other journal, but you should revise the review. You should add some novelty into that. You should see if the format uh, was okay or not. Or you can invite some co-author, like co-author who are expert in that field, or those who can put some input into your paper, or those co-author who have some previous knowledge of publishing paper. You can always invite some co-authors to your paper. This is just a comic scene that I have taken just to ease this conversation a bit. So it's about writing. So if you will only think of writing and if you will procrastinate things, you are not going to write. So the very important thing in writing a paper is write the paper. It is the most important thing. You should not think about writing. You should not worry about publishing. The very first thing, very first step you must choose and you must do is to start writing and write your manuscript. And then you can edit your manuscript. You can show that manuscript to your friends. You can show that manuscript to your professors. You can show that manuscript to your colleagues and ask if there is any chance of improvement and improve it. But the very first point, the beginning point to publish a paper is to start writing. Now, you should, how to organize your paper. You should start with an outline. Now, you should think that these are some points that I am going to follow while writing the paper. Like you should write down some ideas, some bullet points, some key points that my paper will be revolving around this particular topic. And on those particular topic, you should start finding some information. After finding some information on, let's say, 4 particular ideas, you try to connect those ideas, those information, and you should not subdivide the sections. The section should not be very long, should not be very short. You should follow the word limit. Usually the word limit to write an abstract is 250 words. You should go for a graphical abstract. That is one of the best thing that you can do. You can write some keywords that, and on those keywords, your paper would be revolving around. So there should be around 4 to 5 keywords. There should be like 5 or 6 highlights of the paper. For highlights of the paper, it should not be more than 80 or 90 characters. Like it should not be more than one line, the highlights of the paper. And usually while writing the reviews, I think 4 to 6,000 words are more than enough. They are sufficient. Now, as I said earlier, that review is not a collection of result, that you read 10 papers, you got one particular result in every paper, and then you write those 10 results in your paper. No, it's totally wrong. And it will, if you write that kind of stuff, it's very difficult for you to publish. Now, review is not a collection of results. By reading a review, the reader should know about some new idea or some new path or new research or a novel idea, or how you are connecting two dots, how you are connecting multiple dots in your paper. That is the important point for a review. And I discussed before that while writing the proposal, while writing the paper, you should follow and you should strictly follow that how your paper is different, how your ideas are different, why your ideas are different, why you are writing this particular paper at this particular point, why the timing is important, and how this paper will help the future researchers, policy makers, or scientists of any particular field. You should clearly mention those things in your paper. And if you are getting any idea from other paper, or if you are getting any idea from any other review, you must acknowledge that review, that I have taken this particular idea from this particular paper, and I'm uh, writing and I'm sharing this idea that was shared before. And what my idea is different from this particular idea. So you should be clearly mentioning these points, and you should be following these points while writing for the review. You should think while writing the paper, you should think as a reader. Like if I'm writing a paper, I will also be reading that paper. And if I read any particular paper, what I should get from that paper. Like if I read 10 pages, I should get some idea, I should get some new novelty from that paper. If I do not get, that is the waste of time and reading. And the most important thing in this particular slide is it should not be exhaustive. It should not be very lengthy. It should be short and precise. Whenever you write, you should write it short. You should not use very, very big scientific words that we called as scientific jargons. You should not use any scientific jargon. You should not use big words or some particular terms that are difficult for the readers to understand. Because if someone is reading a paper, it is very high probability that he is not expert of that particular field. So you should write short sentences. You should write short paper, not lengthy one. You should not write big, uh, big words. And if you write any big words, for example, there is a necessity to write particular big word that is good for your field, but not good for other field, then you should explain that particular word, that this particular big word have this meaning. And in the concluding section, you should write, hello? Somebody is saying something. Okay. In the conclusion section, you should write that in this particular review, we have demonstrated this particular thing. We have addressed this particular thing. And it is brilliant idea or it is a brilliant work because these particular things have been followed. These particular things have been connected. You should clearly mention while writing. As I told before, avoid writing jargon. Like, don't go for big, super big words that are only limited to a particular scientific community. Never go for big words. Never go for the terms that you have to look into dictionary to know the meaning. You should go for short terms. Make sure it is understandable by everyone. And if you have to put definition of particular word, you should write it. For example, this is a sentence that would litigate many proximal oligonucleotide pairs throughout the slide. So this is an example of jargon, means using big words, using buzzwords. These are usually not acceptable. For example, if you have written proximal oligonucleotide pair, many of us will not know the meaning of that. So you should elaborate these particular words, right? That proximal oligonucleotide is means this. Or for example, another word like DNA concatemer. There are so many words in this that it's even hard to read. So you have to go and search for the meaning. And these particular words, if you use in a review, they don't like it. So you should explain this before or after, or you should not use it. Now, does it meet the journal requirement? If you, every journal have their own requirements, every journal have their own particular word limits. So there are two ways to think about submitting the paper. Either you take some ideas, you make some ideas around that idea, you write your paper. Either you can do that, or you can select your journal first, that I'm going to write a paper for this particular journal and I have to publish my paper in this journal. So you write according to that journal, like you follow the norms provided by that journal, you follow the word limit, you follow the structure of paper, you follow the referencing style of that particular paper and write your paper according to that journal. So there are two ways you can follow. It's your choice which one you are going to follow. You should, while submitting, you should always look for the minute or silly mistakes. For example, if there is, like, you should not submit your first draft. Your draft should be improved many times. You should look for minute mistakes. You should look for the spelling mistakes. You should look for the grammatical mistakes. You should look for the referencing style mistakes. Why? Because nowadays, due to coming of AI, artificial intelligence, and this chat GPT into picture, the number of papers that are being submitted to journals are increasing, because you just go to chat GPT, you type whatever you want, and then you just copy paste. It's right or it's wrong, you don't know, and then you submit the paper. That's why the rejection rate is very high. The editor that is sitting, that is running a journal, he knows that what is going on, like what the researcher, what are the students are doing. They are just copy pasting and submitting it. So you should not do it. If it is very necessary, you can do it, but you should also provide your own input. Because if you do it, they will take 1 or 2 months, and then after that they will reject your paper. So it's better not to do it, or if you do it wisely, because it will save your time, reviewer time, editor time, everything. Now, I have discussed many things in previous slide. You can read this whole thing again. That don't submit your first draft. If you write something, you don't submit that. You share it with your friends, with your colleagues, with your professors, make improvements, because you are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So if you write anything, it's not perfect. You have to constantly monitor it and improve it. And when you feel satisfied that now I cannot improve it further, if your draft is revised like 5-6 times, then you can go for the submission. You can call for authors, co-authors, the people who are working with you, the people who are senior from you. For example, in case of master student, they can take help, or they can ask uh, the PhD students to be one of the co-author in particular paper. For PhD students, they can ask uh, the PhD students who are in second year or third year, or who are doing postdoc, or some assistant professor, to be co-author of their paper. And you can assign some job, like I have generated this particular idea around 4 different points, and you are co-author in this paper, so you write section 1. Another co-author will write section 2. The third will be written by someone else, and you write something else. You write abstract, introduction, you make figures, you compile all these, and then accordingly give the co-authorship to the people. And if there are more co-authors with previous background knowledge, or previous background uh, experience, it is always better, because they will guide you, they will motivate you. And even for the editor, if they will see that this particular guy have published this particular number of papers, then it will be a plus for you. So this is one thing. Now coming to the other point is figure out calls. If there is any special issue call, usually the special issue window is around 1 year. So in 1 year, they mention that we are accepting ideas or papers on this particular topic. So you can write your paper according to those ideas, or you can address those ideas into your paper. Now, important point, revising the manuscript. So when you submit a paper, 99% of the time you will get a revision in form of comment, that you should improve line number this, you should improve line number that, you should improve abstract, or your abstract is written very short, you are like repeating the same things in the abstract, in the introduction or in the conclusion. You can get you must get, and you will get the comments from the reviewer for sure in 99% of the cases. Even if it is some HOD of any department, if he is submitting a paper, he will definitely get the comments, because when you write, it's not always perfect. So when you get the comments, like 1% of the time, the paper is accepted directly, but 99% of the time, you get a comment back to improve the paper. So how you improve the paper? If you get the comments, you uh, edit or you address all those comments line by line, and you make three particular files. Like one is the original file of the paper that you submitted. Second is the paper with edited version. You highlight what stuff you have edited or what stuff you have addressed that you got in the comment. And third file will be of the answers. So for example, if you get three comments, for example, if you get three comments from a reviewer, so you will write answer of all the comments that, for example, if the reviewer have given you comment that you should improve your introduction and you should add these particular things in your introduction, then in the answer of that comment, you will write that, dear editor, thanks for this comment. Uh, this comment seems very useful for the paper to improve the quality of paper. And in line number X to line number Y, we have addressed those comments. So you will write it and you will highlight it. So this is how you address or revise the manuscript again. Now, this is around 1 hour now. So we will just discuss what are the top tech 10 takeaways from this particular session of the first lecture of summer IMSA lecture series. This point I have been telling you so many times that review is not a list of results. It's connection of ideas of various results. It's kind of mandatory to publish your paper to get your degree, to get your master's degree or to get your PhD degree. So it's kind of mandatory to publish the paper, but don't just write the paper for that. If you feel that if you have any idea, if you have to say something through your paper to the world, then only write your review. If you are motivated inside, then the result will be better outside. If it's under pressure, I would suggest get the idea, get the motivation. If possible, submit the proposal before writing the manuscript. To save your time, your energy, the editor's time, editor's energy, you should write the proposal first. Or you can find the special issue first. You write the proposal to editor, subject editor, advisory editor. You get a yes, then you write the manuscript and you submit it. If you get no, don't write. In proposal, make clear why this topic is important. Communicate it. Why it is important now and why I should, you should, anyone should write it. Why this is important. You must mention it. You should mention it so clear that editor can understand or see that this particular topic is important for now, important for the researchers, and it should be published. So when you are getting a yes for your proposal, you are like doing 50% of your work. You are winning the 50% of this battle of publishing the paper. If you get yes for the proposal, because it's yes from the editor, then you can go forward, and it is a surety that you will get some comments. If you get some comments on the your manuscript, it's sure that your paper is going to be published. Again, you should think as a reader. If you are writing something for someone to read, you should think as a reader, like if I am reader, how I am going to perceive that particular paper. So you should know on what journey you are taking your readers on. Manage the reader's expectation from the beginning. Just stick around the ideas, build some ideas, write some highlights, write 5 highlights, stick on those ideas. Don't go away from those ideas. Just stick to them, connect ideas, connect dots. That's it. Avoid jargon. Don't write big words. Don't write buzzwords. Don't write something that the reader have to go and open the dictionary to understand what you have written. The science, the research should be simple. It should be written in a way that if a high school student, if a bachelor student is reading your research, he can get some idea and he can understand what you are trying to say. If you write big words, it does not makes you a great researcher. It does not, if you know some big word, it does not mean you are great. So you should be writing it simple. It should be simple English. It should be correct grammatically. That's it. Expect to heavily revise the first draft. So if you have written the first draft, usually what happens is the first author is doing all the work. First author is doing all the work. The co-authors are just for the support. That's it. So if you are new to writing, or if you are not new to writing, even if you are very experienced in writing, you should be knowing that your first draft is going to take a huge revision, because you are not 100% correct. There are always chance of improvement. And if you submit your first draft, if you submit an garbage version of your paper, it's going to be rejected. And when it's rejected multiple times, you lose your motivation. So first draft should be heavily revised. You should be ready for that. You should never submit the first draft. You should submit the improved draft that can be improved 5 to 6 times for sure. Follow the journal's formatting guideline. If you submit your paper in a journal without its format, they will directly reject it. No question. Like what you have written, if your idea is so good, it does not matter. They will reject it directly. So you should follow the formatting guidelines. You should read one paper from that journal and make the format of your paper accordingly. For example, if they have mentioned that you should follow this particular guideline, that is of topic, abstract, highlights, introduction, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion, reference, referencing style. You should exactly follow it 100%. There should be nothing less than the suggested guideline. And the thing that I mentioned, that if the editor says yes, you can submit this idea in our journal, you have already succeeded. You have already won the battle of publishing paper, because everyone wants you to succeed. Everyone, including your professor, friends, editor, everyone wants you to succeed. And if the editor have said yes, it means that there is very, very high chance of getting it published. That's all from the slides. And now we will take the questions. Like, it's around 1 hour for the slides. Hope this lecture would have helped you. And now we will take the questions, and we will answer all those questions.
Sadashir, can you answer one question, please?
Yeah. Who is this?
First of all, it was amazing lecture. Throughout, I
Uh,
enjoyed. But I
yeah.
have one question: that how to find the best journal based on abstract or title? Like, is there any AI tool or something else? Like, if we have any abstract or some points to find out the best journal.
See, uh, if you want to find the best journal, Nature publication is, you do not need an AI tool. Uh, Nature publication are the best journals, and Nature publishes for all particular fields, all particular subdomains. The Nature publication publishes the paper. They are very high impact journals. They are the most reputed journal in the world. If you publish one Nature publication, and if you publish like 20 different publication, it's same. So Nature publication are the best publication. You go on the Nature publication website, you write your keywords, you write your keywords like, this topic I want to find, and then you will find the list of publication in the Nature. And this is very good question that you have asked, and this will be very helpful for other attendees as well. Like, you should always read, try to find the best publication, and Nature publication are the best. They cover all the topics, from biology to meteorology to mathematics to computer science. Everything is covered, all the topics in science, in social science, in economics, everything is covered in Nature. So you should try and find publication in the Nature journal. Or Nature publication are very difficult to publish. So it does not mean that nature, all the things that you want to look at is in Nature publication. So you can go for the high impact papers. Like, in every particular field, there are some top 5 journals that are highly reputed. So you can just go on the website of that particular journal, write your keyword that I am trying to find, for example, in meteorology. If you want to find something on monsoon, you can go on the Nature or the top journal, you just write monsoon, and you will get like 50 papers from the monsoon. And you just read the topic, you find that this topic is matching my ID or matching my interest, then you just download it. And from the NUIST server, you can download almost everything. So I think Ali Zafri, I have answered your question.
Thank you very much, Sadashiv. It was an excellent explanation regarding journal. I just wanna ask one more thing that in the next presentation, please also try to include one slide of all major meteorological like conferences, international conferences like you attended in France. So other people may get an opportunity to different other countries. Thank you very much.
Okay. So for conferences, uh, uh, there is one particular website, but it does not have all the information. But I will, in the group, I will share that website. In the group, I will also share one a call for paper. And usually the conferences, if you go to Elsevier or if you go to the Springer, or if you go to, if you explore, if you explore these journal websites, in the end, in the end of the page of the website, there are call for conferences as well. So on almost on every reputed journal, for example, like trends or climate change or nature sustainability, chemosphere, ESPR, journals like this, or LDD, land degradation development, journals like this. In the end of paper, in the end of the website, on like in the very end, in the bottom, you will find call for papers, you will find the conferences. So you can find the, that is the best thing to find the conferences. If you like uh, go on AI chat box and ask for conferences, you will get some like some conferences that are meaningless. Or if you just go on any particular website for the conference, it's not up to the par. But if you go to these paper, like if you go to these journals, you will find conferences at the end. And conferences, for conferences you should apply at least 6 months before. So in conferences, uh, you will get uh, you'll get a knowledge about conference. They have particular guideline that we are accepting candidates like researchers or scientists from this particular field for this particular area, and you need to submit an abstract for that. And you then submit it. If it's gets accepted, if the abstract get accepted, you get an invitation, and then you pay the fees of the conference, and then you can attend the conference. And two very important conference for people who are working in environmental sciences and metrology is AGU and EGU. So AGU is American Geosciences Union and AGU is European Geosciences Union. It happens every year. And there is one more, it's called JPGU, Japan Geosciences Union. So these are the three most reputed conferences in the world. You can just go and check out their websites. It happens every year. EGU happens around in April, and then our president, Mr. Dinesh, he shared a link for AGU like few days ago in the group. American GeoU, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Yeah, this. Yeah, Ali, we will share the link. This was the, thank you, President. This was the link. This was the particular website I was talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This was the website I was talking about. And then there are,
Thank you very much, Dinesh and Sadashiv. Thank you very much.
meanwhile, I will also, there are some questions in the group as well. So I will try to take those questions. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, President. So Ali have asked how to find the best journal based on the abstract or title. So I think I have uh, given that answer, and the answer is go for the Nature publications. That's it. Can you please now Nakib have asked, can you please tell me what is a review paper? Just tell me the main point at the glance. Okay. So uh, there are like several kinds of publications that you can go to publish. So one is review paper, one is research paper, one is book chapter, one is datas, and one is short communication overviews. So these are like 4 5 different types of publications. Now we discussed today about review paper because you can do it without uh, doing any research, without doing any field work, without running any model, or without running any code programming. You can write the review paper. And this whole discussion was about review paper itself. Review paper is like you collect some ideas from many research, and then you write those findings, those ideas into your own word, and you make a new idea, you generate a new idea from some particular research that you have gone through. That's called the review paper. If you go on a particular website like Elsevier or Springer, and if you write a review paper, you can find many review paper regarding to your particular topic. I think I have answered your question. And can you put the QR code at the attendance? Yeah, so there is not much questions, I think. There were just two questions. And if anyone have any more question, they can ask, and they can mark the attendance as well from the QR code that have been mentioned over here. If you have any questions, you can just type your questions. If not,
Sadashiv,
yeah, who is this?
unable to like mark the attendance. I don't know why.
Uh, okay, I will ask our secretary, Miss Komal, or our president Dinesh, to look into this issue. I think Dinesh have shared another QR code. You can go check it out. I think you need to mark your attendance because this should be marked between 7 p.m. to 7:20. So this is the time you can just scan the QR code and get your attendance. And, I've shared one PDF here. I will also share this particular PPT uh, in the group that we have. I have shared one PPT over here. You can look into it. This is like a yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was the one you
Yeah,
sent in the
it's
chat.
working
It's
now.
working.
You can mark your attendance. Yeah. And thank you, Zafri, for being active. I think other people are not active other than you and some other guys. They may be just like switch on the meeting and just went away. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I took took the that question uh, before as well, and this whole discussion was about this only. I have answered to Nakib, but I will answer it again. So review paper is just collecting ideas and connection of ideas and your understanding of any particular research that you are going to do or some particular research that you have read. Just writing and understanding your own understanding in your own way without setting up any experiment, without running any model or without running any code, without doing any software. You just read some papers and you make your own idea or you make your own path. Like this is what I have to research and this is some ideas I have collected and I'm going to walk on this path. So this is all about review paper, and I think everyone who is in masters or in PhD, they should focus on writing review paper uh, because it will fulfill your requirement. That's the first point. It will help to improve your own knowledge. That's the second point, and it will get more citation and more recognition from other researchers than the yeah than the
Hello.
research. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I raised my hand, but you didn't call me. Thank
Sorry,
you
I did
for your
not see it.
presentation. It's okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, when you were doing the presentation earlier, you mentioned that when we write a paper, nobody is perfect, so you can give it to maybe someone who is above you or an associate professor to at least go through and also make some comments or give you some suggestions before you do your submission. Now, in a
Yeah.
case where like I have a paper and then I submit it to like I give it to someone who is above me or someone who is doing PhD in my field, right? Not necessarily the same field, but then like similar field. Like let's say business administration and then business management, same business field, but like not the same major, right? And
Yeah.
then you wait for like almost a month or more than a month and you're not getting any comments. And also, you know, sometimes you send messages to some of the professors and they don't even respond or they don't get back to you. In that case, what would be your advice to someone in that situation? Do you advise that they go ahead and submit to the journal and get comments or review from the journals, or what should they do? Thank you.
Okay, that is very important question. And I think it's very relatable question as well, because it's like it's happening almost with everyone. So the first point that I would like to make is uh, you should, like, whenever you share your paper to someone, either it's your friend, colleague, your neighbor, or your professor, you should always share your paper through email. Don't share your paper with WhatsApp or WeChat mediums like this. Always go for email. So uh, there are two reasons why you should do that. So first is it's more professional than WeChat or WhatsApp. And second is it's like an archive that you make, a history that you make, that someone in future does not just copy paste your work and submit it without your knowledge. So if you have the record of emails, you can always raise the conflict, or you can always write to the editor that I shared this particular paper with this person and he copied this and he made his own publication. So that are the two reasons you should follow uh, sharing your paper via email, not never with the WeChat or WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook. Never do like that. Now, second thing is, if usually the professors, maybe they are busy with some other work, or maybe they are not taking someone seriously, or they are taking some other thing seriously, they are not replying or commenting on your paper. So for example, if you are doing business administration or business economics or business economics, if your topic are related to the business, you can always it's good to share with the people who are working in your field or near your field, but you can also choose someone who is close to you and not working in your field, like for example working in mathematics or working in computer science or working uh, in metrology. You can share your paper to those guys as well, because the motivation behind improvement of first draft is, like, when you write your first draft, your mind have reached a saturation point that you think that, yeah, this is perfect and I should just go and submit it. But if some other person looks it in the paper, and if they have some other point of view, or if they find some like other mistake that should not be there, but you did it because you are in a hurry, or you are doing so much of work in writing the paper, there, like, some second audience is very helpful. Either it's from your field or not, it's not necessary. And the third point that you asked about, we should submit the paper directly to the journal, is that, suppose if you have, if only one person is involved in writing the paper, there is very, very high probability and chances that there are some mistakes in that paper, even if you have revised it many times, because it's just one mind that is working there. If other minds are involved in writing or in proofreading, there is very high chance of improvement. And if you submit with some silly mistakes, if you submit with not, if the formatting is not correct, if you submit without some missing references, nowadays they are just rejecting the paper. But if it have if you have shown it to one or two people and they have commented or they have edited it, you can go for the submission. If you submit it directly without revision, it's high chance that they usually reject it. And if your paper is being rejected many times, you lose the confidence. That's that's my particular understanding about your question.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. I hope you have marked your attendance. And if you have any questions, you can ask. For metrology students and for the remote sensing students, I have shared one file over here. It's call for papers. You can look into it. You can make your paper accordingly and you can submit your paper. It's free of cost. Any other questions or suggestions or comments are welcome. Even to answer the last question of, I think it was Isha. So what happened was like I made a new CV last week. I'm just sharing my experience. So I made one new CV. I have my own CV, but I made a new CV and showed it to my friend. And he suggested like very good improvements in the CV. Like we are not in the same field, but he suggested some improvements. Like when I showed my CV to him, I thought it's perfect. But when he suggested that you should remove this or you should improve this or you should edit this, then it made sense. Like I said, yeah, wow, this is like very cool suggestions. And I was missing that. So you can share it with anyone just to have a read.
Very well noted.
Hello? Yeah. So, Mr. President, I think we are not having any more questions, and I think everyone have marked their attendance, so we can. Yeah. It's okay. I think like either the lecture is very good. This is a possibility that either the lecture is very good or the lecture was very bad, or everyone just turned on the meeting and slept. These are the. Yeah, sure. We will share the PDF file for sure. We'll share this PDF file, and I have also shared one PDF file in the chat box here. It's a invitation for papers in field of data, big data, remote sensing, and metrology, and it's like free of cost. So we can also share this one. I will share the PPT to the group and also to you. Yeah, for the graphic. Yeah, sure. For the graphical abstract, I will show like one graphical abstract that I made. I will show it to you. Let me share my screen. So is my screen visible? Yeah. So for example, so this is like why abstract, like why graphical abstract is important and how it change your perspective or your view about seeing to any particular document. So, for example, this is research proposal, and research proposal is almost in the same format as the review or research paper. So you have abstract. So see, like I have written abstract, it's around in the 250 words. Then you have introduction or background of study. Then you can see like I have put here number 1 in bracket, number 2 and 3 in the bracket. So these are the references. So for example, this is the introduction. Now you have to go through all this text, you have to read everything, right? And then there is like research scope and questions. So if you answer these research scope, if you follow these research scope, like you can find some research or you can find some literature about these particular research scopes. You can put into a paper format. So it's like right now I have written just 1 or 2 lines. So when I have to write the review paper, I will like add few more lines into it. I will add few more relevant information for these particular points, and it will be like a paragraph. It will be subheadings, the research scope, and then integrated monitoring system development. It will be a subheading, and under that subheading, we will have like 1 or 2 paragraph for this particular bullet point. So this is how you start formulating your review. You address all these points. So for methodology, you can make a figure like this. And now, for example, if I am the editor of any particular journal, I have to read all these things, right? But on top of the paper, this is graphical abstract. Graphical abstract means the extract, like the extract of all the things that have been written down. This is I have tried to explain in one particular figure. So if someone will look into this particular figure, and either they will find it interesting or either they will find it not interesting. If they do not find it interesting, maybe they can just scroll it here and then they will say it's let's reject it. But they can find it interesting, and if they find it interesting, they will also read all this matter that is written with interest. They will put some energy, they will put some they will like read it with some enthusiasm, that this particular figure was very interesting, very good. So let's see like what the writer have written here. So if you, and this graphical abstract just comes after the topic. So if you put the graphical abstract, it's always a big plus for your publication. I hope the answer is clear. For conference, we can submit abstract first. So it is possible to submit graphical abstract only and also description. No, for conferences, like as we mentioned before, that every conference, every paper, every journal, they have their own requirements. So usually for most of the conferences, you need to submit the abstract. An abstract is there is a limit for abstract. It should not be more than 250 words. 250 words is the limit for abstract for any kind of publication. So for the conference, you need to submit an abstract. That is the important thing. But if you add graphical abstract to the abstract, it's just a cherry on top. So you must submit the abstract, but to make it more visually appealing, you can add a graphical abstract as well. Thank you for the question, Nakib. It was a nice question. It's our pleasure. It's my pleasure as well. If anyone have any question, we can take one more question, or we can, if you have marked your attendance, we can like finalize today's session. Thank you for the IMSA. Thank you to the NUIST, and thank you for all the participants. Thank you to all the participants who asked questions. Thank you to our president and our secretary to make this happen. Yeah, that's nice idea, man. Yeah,
Ali.
yeah, that was. Oh, wow. So I was saying that thanks for turning on your cameras and the group photo. That will be helpful for us. And if you like feel to ask any question in future, you can like ask in the group, and we will try to answer. But it's always good to have like face-to-face discussion instead of texting. So you can ask your question in future as well. It will be no problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you tell me the question? Yeah. 15. See, the similarity index come when you have four particular words continuously. If you have like four continuous words, then you get the similarity. Now, you can always reduce the similarity. So first point is 15% is very much okay. Like 20 up to 20% it's allowed for the similarity to happen. If there is similarity more than 20%, 25%, let's say, then it's you can use you can use active or passive voice to like format your sentence. Like you can use various sentences. Like there should not be continuously four letters that should be continuously copied from somewhere else. You can always use many verbs, or you can use comma, or you can use different words. Like there are always a synonym for any particular word. You can use is, am, are, he, she, it, have, has. You can use comma. You can break the sentence. You can elaborate the sentence. It's a it's like easy thing, but it may not be easy. But there is chance. Like if you have a file uh, from, for example, from authenticate, and you can find that this particular phrase or this particular line have similarity, you can always break it down. You can merge two sentences. You can use alternate words. You can use a, and, the, have, has, comma, like that, or you can use synonyms. I hope this have answered the question. And one particular thing that I will also like to share from my experience before, that we submitted one paper recently, and I was working with the metrology group, atmospheric physics group in the NUIST, with some students. So they were looking for similarity index for whole of their paper, like from the topic to the name to the affiliation till the reference. Never do that. You should only check the similarity index only for the manuscript, only for the abstract, introduction till the conclusion. Do not look the similarity index for from top to bottom. You only use the part abstract to conclusion. If you go for the similarity index, which includes your name, your affiliation, and references, and all the statement like conflict of interest and credit authorship, it will always show you high similarity. So just go for abstract to conclusion for looking the similarity. You can zoom it. Can you zoom it? Even, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was very nice that you showed it with the example and supplemented. So there are some software like Turnitin and Authenticate to show you this. And suppose if there is sentence of 2 lines and there is one comma in between, you can write the last part before and you can then add it with some verbs and then write the first part after that. Or you can just shuffle or reorder the things. And the best thing that he said that just write in your own words. Do we have any more questions? Okay, so now we can just end the first lecture of our summer training program. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's like it's my pleasure, and it's also like I also thank IMSA and whole team to facilitating this lecture. And in the end, we are helping the university and university to improve the ranking of university from good publications. And then when the university ranking improves, it's also helps us. So uh, definitely we will see in our future lectures. I will see you more. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you the whole team IMSA. Yeah, yeah, session 2 with Mr. Aminu and Mr. Kwan. Yeah. Yeah. And for AI and machine learning to write the reviews, the most important thing is just please don't copy and paste. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because nowadays they are like detecting the AI written stuff now. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining.